Hi everyone. Wanted to come to you today to talk a little bit about a triangle. I know it's kind of odd. No, this is not a geometry class session or whatever. But I'd like you to think of the triangle as your brain. And in your brain, I'm going to talk about 3 different points on the triangle. This is not exhaustive. So for those of you that have a lot of that neuroscience background, there's probably other things you could add. But for today, for the purposes of this video, I want you to focus in on the intellectual side of your brain, the emotional side, and the spiritual. As we're going through our lives, so much is happening, and there's opportunities, problems, all of those things that are coming at us sometimes at lightning speed. At least that's how it feels, right? So in America, there's a heavy emphasis on the intellectual. All you have to do is look at a job description. Most all of it is rooted around the intellectual. And that's not a bad thing per se. But what I've been thinking about is that, are we ignoring the emotional and the spiritual? And let me give you some clarification first on spiritual. I'm not talking about religion. You might connect that to God, but I'm speaking of spiritual as in who you are, who you really are. What makes you, you, right? The emotional is rooted around, which you've heard from us tons and tons. It's emotional intelligence. It's the management of our emotions, our decision-making grid, if you will. And then, of course, the intellectual. That's kind of where the skill stuff lies, right? I know how to do X. I know how to do Y. And it could be even as simple as when you come to a traffic light. If the light is red, you stop. That's an intellectual action, right? So one of the things I get most concerned about in living in the time that we do is that we're very out of balance, right? We are heavily weighted toward the intellectual, and maybe we've even convinced ourselves that the spiritual and the emotional, they'll just take care of themselves. But I have to tell you, when you encounter problems and opportunities and the rapid change that typically fosters those, if you're not building resources in each of those, you could be left deficient and maybe even at a loss. I don't want to see that for you. I certainly don't want to see it for me. So my recommendation today is take some time to do an inventory of how much attention you're paying to those 3 points on the triangle and begin to give them all the attention they deserve. Thanks for tuning in.